Yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh. Yeah. It's percolating. Good morning. Yeah. Good morning to the people on Facebook. Good morning to the people on IG. Good morning to the people on the YouTube. Good morning to the people on LinkedIn and Twitter too. Java. Percolating. Get a vibe, stay ready. Truth in the cup, keep it strong, keep it steady. Pull up a chair, yeah. Take a sip with me. Good morning, good people. Java with Jimmy. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, the love percolating. Java with Jimmy. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good morning. Yeah, the love percolating. Yeah, Java with Jimmy. Good morning. Percolating. Yeah, we in it. Yeah, we in it. Good morning. Good morning. Java with Jimmy. Percolating. Yeah, we in it. Yeah, we in it. Good morning. Good morning. Java with Jimmy.
Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Wednesday, August 5th, 2026. Happy National Folding Chair Day. And the mayor would pop in the background when I said that. I'm curious if she is aware of the context, but happy National Folding Chair Day. It is also We Need to Know Wednesday. We are honored to have our mayor in the room. We have a lot to catch up on, and we made a decision to, when I say we, kind of me, and I checked in with the team just to sort of be sure that we cover maybe a few less topics and allow the opportunity for deeper explanation. As you all know, in the past, I try to pack a lot in. And so with that, I'm going to shut up and get ready to bring our mayor in. We're going to discuss a couple of things of old business around BMA and the budget, and our new, not new, but we haven't talked about it a lot in a while, but definitely violence, Blue Hill Ave, and then also the mayor, on the poly side, the mayor has a couple of candidates that she's supporting in the race. So we'll check in around those four things. So do me a favor, hit that like and share button and invite others in. For those that are familiar, I think the mayor has the comments on. I don't, because she's not hosting. So I'm going to go ahead and shut up and bring her in. And got the colors on this morning.
Yes, I'm ready for Java with Jimmy.
Okay, one quick question, because I want to allow you the opportunity. And last time I saw you, you was like, I'm not in uniform. One word for FIFA, just one word.
Possibility.
Okay.
See, I picked a word that you have to ask what the follow-up is. And what I mean by that is, I think there was so much hyping up, or I got really hyping down of what was going to happen with FIFA. And, Boston is always a city that is going to ask the hard questions and make sure that we are just kind of checking for every possible consequence. And there was a lot of, can we host it? Will it go okay? Visitors from outside the United States, do they even want to be in the US under this president? And what ended up happening was, one, we saw Boston became known as the best host city across the entire tournament around the world. People felt they were welcome, that our city was beautiful and family friendly, and they loved the history, the neighborhoods, all of that. And two, we did a survey of all of our small businesses a couple of weeks after the tournament. And not only was there a big jump in downtown where FanFest and all this, many of the events were, but we had watch parties throughout the neighborhoods, and every single neighborhood was represented in that small business survey. Every neighborhood showed some kind of boost or increase from it. And we had special rules that the state house, the governor, and the state legislature let businesses stay open later. They let us have social districts where you could get a drink from a restaurant or bar and then enjoy it outside, which is shocking and scandalous in Boston with our usual rules. And it was amazing. We didn't have any incidents about it, and it helped not only people invest in their local businesses, but the businesses said it helped people stay out longer and have a better time too. So even if the restaurant didn't stay open all the way until 3 a.m., because people knew they could have a longer window to go out and enjoy somewhere else afterwards, they would book the dinner reservation for 9 p.m. before it would kind of die down after, around that time. So we saw a lot of ripple effects. And that's when we focus on creating spaces that are beautiful, safe, welcoming, exciting, and give cities the legal powers to support that. It goes a long way.
I thank you for that, Mayor. And it was exciting to just, I almost want it back here next year. And it was to be a part of it. I want to shout out Beckma, Rosemark, and the Convention Center for having an opportunity. Mayor, in the vein of, I'm going to ask you this question. This will transition us into a couple of other topics. Yes or no? I'm going to, because this is supposed to be one word. I need yes or no. There is an increase on incidents of violence. However, there was a attempt to perpetuate a narrative that because of FIFA, that was why the violence, was increased. And there's one particular counselor that comes to mind. Do you agree with that notion? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, thank you. I want to go ahead and
continue. A word on the numbers too, just so you have the context of it.
Go ahead.
So then again, numbers are only about kind of making sure big picture we're tracking things properly. It's not at all about whether we're done or easing up or anything like that. But I find it important to just make sure we're tracking things in the context of not just 1 month or even 1 year, but 5 years, 10 years, 25 years. We are at this moment in time still down. The number of homicides is lower this year to date than last year, and also lower than the 5-year average. We are seeing that the number of shooting victims is up. And so there's been a prevalence of course, firearms being involved in situations that seem to have been either casual or random altercation, like just sort of people being in the same space on a bus or at a house party. Maybe there were, maybe there's alcohol involved, late at night. And then what would have been an altercation without firearms, without guns, then turned deadly. And so it's not okay that any families are ever grieving in Boston when we work so hard as a community to put resources where they need to go, to create opportunities, and we've been making progress, but every time we take a step forward, it can feel like there's a lot more to be done, and we are going to stick with making sure we do whatever we need to do.
Mayor, 2 follow-up questions there. And I was going to talk about this later. We do have one point of old business that may be somewhat related in one particular vein. So 2 follow-up questions there. And I remember asking you this a couple of years ago around Mass and Cass. One is in reference to, and we've talked about this when we saw each other recently, and you heard from a group of Black men. You heard it from the community that included a lot of Black men, but we have to shout out Apostle Hart and also Ruth Rollins that was in the room as well. There was some conversation about safest city. And Mayor, someone put something on social media the other day as sort of a defense of they posted the numbers, and I get what you're saying, but I have to, in fairness, give validity to that. Can you respond minimally, even though we're trying to keep to a few subjects? You kind of talked about it a little bit, but I'd like you to speak to, because that's been a lot of the chatter, on social media from people that live here and also the trolls. You shared something with us about that notion. We responded, but can you give us, and Mayor, we're going to do well here. Give me about 45 seconds to a minute of the notion of why you say safest city, and can you respond to our response around how the community parts of the community feels? 90 seconds. Okay.
Definitely. Everything that I do, it's not about other cities at the end of the day. It's about Boston and making sure we are delivering the highest possible quality of life across our neighborhoods. We have a live long and well agenda. Every person in Boston should get to grow old and to live their fullest, happiest, healthiest life throughout their family and their community here. I say safest city, one, to issue the challenge that we are going to do it better than anywhere else. We're going to be leading the pack. We're going to find new ways to drive down violence. We've seen a lot of new methods and collaborations really make a difference, and we're not satisfied. We have to keep at it. And two, just to remind ourselves internally also, within our public safety, public health, all the city teams, what the standard is that we hold ourselves to. And so we're not going to settle for being just okay, or even seeing the numbers the same as last year, or kind of maintaining at a certain level. We want to drive down violence to eliminating it. And that's the standard.
Thank you. The follow-up question there, Mayor, as I've referenced to Mass and Cass, is you more than most. And I think I said on the show or to someone that in that meeting I referred to, I saw your notebook. Here of late, Mayor, you don't see the notebook as much. That said to me that you understood this. I made that reference point because we've had conversations. You've wrote in many notebooks over the years. There's nothing particularly new about this cyclical piece. And so, Mayor, I'll ask you the same question frame like I did about Mass and Cass. What's the off-ramp to the cyclical of the cycle of violence? And I hope that's not redundant. You know what I mean? What is the off-ramp, Mayor, that we've been, though the numbers are down, we've been here. What is the off-ramp to get us closer to zero?
What we have seen with Mass and Cass, for example, it hasn't been in the news nearly as much this year and this summer. And usually around summertime, that's when sort of it's a different cycle than during winter when it's cold. And the reason why I think it's not that all of a sudden people decided to ignore things and not talk to the media about it. We have seen real progress at Mass and Cass. Now there's challenge, everything is always sort of what is a citywide system, but with Mass and Cass, as with violence prevention, it has to be focused accountability. Someone is thinking about it all the time. It has to be new collaborations, just relentless bringing people to the table, and then a person by person approach. At the end of the day, we are now at the point in Boston where we know there are generational traumas within sometimes one family or one street or one community that need resources. It's not about a public safety or enforcement or criminal justice system approach that can change anything. It is about healing and putting resources for trauma supports, mental health, job stability, housing stability. Everything that we know goes into life expectancy and quality of life. And it's just all the same issue. Violence isn't kind of on its side, off on its own. It's doing everything else that we need to do for people to be healthy and well and connected to their communities.
Mayor, thank you for that. I was looking for something and I don't want you to make anything up, but that day I asked you that question, you sat back and you was like, you could tell that there was something in your head and you just kind of made a decision. And so that was the piece I was looking for. Like, what's that? What is this? And I agree. Violence is a product of a lot of other issues. I'll speed things up and try less commentary. In that
I guess just to get to what you're asking though, what's the like next level or next step of
dimension?
The
Yes.
next dimension.
Yep.
I think it is what we're trying to do now is really get to the specific, like each situation. What are we pulling from the lessons there? What are the trends and themes that are beyond just getting guns off the streets, beyond just sort of resources generally? We are seeing a domestic violence factor into a significant number of the homicides in Boston now. We are seeing scooters involved in a significant number of violent incidents.
Yeah, one quick question. Were you aware of the footage that went? What time is it? Oh, it's 10. What's your drop dead?
I was here. He says 10:40.
Yes. Okay, Mayor, did you see the footage, or did anybody make you? What? Bigger, larger question. There are events that are publicized and scheduled in the city, as your reference to scooters. I saw footage the other night of 100 scooters going back and forth on Blue Hill Ave. And we are in the process. You talk about progress. We've made progress with scheduling Commissioner Cox. I'm just waiting on a date. Mayor, 30 seconds. You mentioned scooters, and it just made me think of that. Are you aware about this and a perception for some that it's being allowed? You know what I mean.
We never want to overgeneralize, right? There are many people who are taking care of their family and feeding their kids and themselves by using their scooter to get to their work, to get, sometimes a lot of it's food deliveries, for example, that we're seeing. But there is an uptick and a significant trend of scooters being used for quick sort of exits from a scene or for altercations that are happening to in the beginning. And so there's been a specific effort to get illegal scooters off the streets, just to confiscate them, and BPD will take away sort of like 100 at a time in different locations if they're not licensed, if they're not registered, if there's some other issue where it's clearly not legal. And we're going to continue that.
I appreciate that. And Mayor, I could see that you kept it, tried to keep it quick there. So we were talking about that off ramp and the next dimension, and that is, I will name progress. Everything now is centralized, in one department. The accountability, I'll just share with you again, this is something I've been talking about, is this idea of assessment and survey of those that are getting funded. And, some are in cycles and you can't necessarily, well, there are some ways you can defund. Anyway, Mayor, thank you for the response to the violence and your perspective around the safest city. The last part there, I think we're going to do well today. The last part there is, what would you say directly to the people, Mayor, that don't feel safe, where the numbers are still active, are in concentrated particular areas? What do you say if you do, well, not the masses, but talk directly to them about, what do you say to them that they don't, feel safe?
So here's some things that I want people to know that are happening. One, we're continuing to graduate more, the biggest classes of new officers ever in Boston's history. Over the last 5 years now, we've had classes of over 100 new police officers enter the academy and then join our force. In my time as mayor, we've had 500 new officers added to the department. There's another 120 in the academy now that the commissioner and I just visited recently. I was at the academy, it was a couple weeks ago, and I asked anyone, who grew up in Boston, can you raise your hand? And it was like 80% plus of the room. So our outreach and recruitment efforts are working. The cadet program as a direct pipeline for residents is working. Our officers now speak the language of our community, know our neighborhoods, grew up in our neighborhoods, and having them graduate means that the commissioner is able to do things like have walking beats in more places, to really have their training include community service and interacting with all generations of our community. So there's a real focus on taking community policing to the next level with training of our officers. There's a real focus on data and accountability too, following these trends, making them public. And so if you live in a neighborhood where you feel like there's not enough resources, you want to be involved, you want to know what the trends are, please reach out to your neighborhood liaison. They can get you connected with the officers and the community safety efforts in that area to have a public, what we call CompStat. And that's where we basically do a strategy session in the community. BPD will share out all the data, with privacy and all of that, names taken away, et cetera. And then they have a real dialogue about what should we be focused on? What are you noticing? What would be helpful? Where, when? And so that getting into details, I think, is the best way to see the immediate difference.
I think we're on to something here. 1 minute there is, so contact your neighborhood liaison. Michael, I think if you get me the link in text, I think I can cut and paste and put that on there, because I believe this is and we talked about your desire to do a couple of task force, around some things. So maybe these mini, where the CompStat thing could get that community on an ongoing level. So that's good. We covered violence. The other thing, Mayor, that's kind of related, unfortunately, where a lot of the data, as you mentioned, in numbers, Black men are the greatest number of a lot of the incidents of gun violence. We'll also name a lot of, overdoses as well. But, and at some point I'll get Dr. Basola on to talk about the report. In reference to some old business, when we last chatted right before the budget, one of the points of contention in that conversation was around the BMA. You had stated that the BMA, was the grant funding was restored, and that Director Farrell's FTEs would not, be touched. I presume you're aware. How do you that some of his FTEs have been moved, and can you explain a little bit how and why that happened within the context of a perception that those positions being moved, there's a perception that priority of Black men leading, focusing on, and one is policy, and they were in the middle of the equity study.
Yeah, so this is helpful to clear up that, let me think about the best context. So when I was on the council 10 years ago, for instance, when then Councilor Jackson was first introducing the legislation, the ordinance to create a commission on Black men and boys, there obviously was no office then. We created the office, had one staff member there, the executive director, Frank Farrow, and then over the next couple of years, grew it to 9 people within that office. Back in the day, if there was a specific outreach office, whether it was women's advancement or immigrant advancement, et cetera, it was usually one person, right? Not too many years ago, one person doing it. And we've grown all of those outreach offices so that it's not just on any single individual who will then burn out, who then is responsible for everything. So to have a team there to really do the work and do it well, do it sustainably. As we've been having some budget challenges with what's happening in the federal government and at the state level, our cabinets that oversee multiple departments are centralizing some of the functions. So there might be some departments had separate HR people, doing payroll in each different department, when now they can combine and then do that for the whole cabinet. It would be like finances and paperwork and HR and things like that. Policy is one area where our policy team is also now all sitting together. And so there are specialists in different area, and the specialists that came from Black male advancement, just like a specialist that came from other departments, will still serve and primarily support those departments. For instance, here, carrying out the equity study and making sure that issues that need to be researched are carried out. But it's going to help basically coordinate and integrate the work across all of the resources that we have throughout the entire policy team, rather than, again, it just being on one person because they're that person for that department. And so getting everyone together and finding ways to get more out of the work that we're doing, because it does cross all different issues too. I mean, from being on the commission that there's no sort of issue that only touches this department. It's housing, it's jobs, it's schools, it's public health, it's public safety, it's all of the above.
Mayor, with that, I do understand. I was on 5 and I get sort of the centralization. Violence is an example of that with Dr. Yarblough, everything going in one place. You spoke to sort of what you study law, the letter and the spirit of the law. That would, if I'm right, a little bit of the letter of the law. The spirit, if I could associate it with perception in these times and what's going on, and you and I have had some interesting, conversations around. This leads a little back to one of the old business points of the perception, Black men, suffering and dealing with a lot. How do you respond to the perception that moving, understanding it, that moving can be perceived as Frank not having the direct supervision to focus, reallocate time, and maybe funds, the perception that is that, and it goes along the lines of the prioritization of deleting, because this was monumental that you mentioned, and it I get it, but then it makes I'm asking the question, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's, I think, what I have had to learn about this job most of all, is that what is real and sort of the work or the facts can be different from the perception. And at the end of the day, perception wins out in today's world, right? With
I'll just go somewhere else, man.
All that, and that's true on safety, and whether what the numbers say versus how people feel, and where that feeling is in different neighborhoods, and how there are disparities between different neighborhoods. And even with one thing that I keep running into, young people out in the city who are saying, what I want to make sure I have a summer job. I'm like, because summer jobs were cut, I didn't get one. And I'm like, no, the facts are that summer jobs were not at all cut. We have continued to have the same level of funding. And in fact, even the school year jobs, there will be more and they will be better jobs, because they're going to be actually supported by the business community, connecting their sort of the jobs that students want versus just the jobs that city departments might have on our own. But how that's been framed really has a direct impact. And so I've been pulling young people to go and apply. We still have jobs, get in, we're going to connect you and get you a job. And in this case, I think perception is also really important, in having spaces to share what's actually happening, that all departments are going through this, that it's not about any individual department. And this is reflecting our belief that policy really should be interconnected across everything that we're doing, rather than siloed when there are so many cross-cutting issues that then sometimes can fall through the cracks that way.
I get it, Mayor, and I'm gonna ask a favor in a second, because we have our guests that are they're okay with being delayed a few minutes. Arts and culture partnered with these folks that we're going to bring in a second. Two other things that okay, well, here's the favor. Can we squeeze a little something in? I'm going to invite you for September, because your boy's turning 55 on September 8th. So I'll see if you can pop in for 2 minutes for that. But if we can maybe squeeze something in before October, because there's two major things that were left, and I thought we were going to do well, even with a little extra time. If you can, 1 minute, because we got to give the brothers a minute with you. 1 minute on this tax thing. I've had Senator Collins on. We didn't go a lot into it, but then there was a letter issued, and it was a point of him saying, put the personal stuff aside. Where are you two? Where did this, and I didn't look deep into it, but where did the state land? Where are you two? And it kind of lends into, I wanted to also ask about your two candidates, because you will, if you don't, well, you won't be back before September 1st. Talk a little bit about that. Mayor, we got 4 minutes, and I have to let these brothers say hello to you. So That, and then if we can get you in September, we'll talk about Blue Hill Ave. Okay.
It
Taxes and the
yeah, I mean, I can't take things personal in my job. There's just too much that needs to be done. And on this, you know, I saw the letter, and I just have to say it's about the record. When someone is running as an incumbent, that's a different situation than when they're running for the first time, and you've gotten to work with them. You've gotten to see how they've been in the office. You've gotten to see if they show up or they don't show up, if they answer hard questions or if they hide and duck. I think, okay, what I want to say about this is I believe that real leadership is finding solutions and trying to address problems before it gets to a crisis point, not waiting until an election year after you've been hiding and blocking and personally harming community members to then pop up with plans that aren't workable, are disconnected from reality. If we had passed that tax plan that we had put forward and that everyone else had passed, it just got to the Senate, that was the last vote that we needed, and Senator Collins personally blocked it, just himself, from even getting to a vote. And if that had not happened, the business community signed on, the House passed it, the council passed it, we would have saved Boston taxpayers over $150 million in taxes over the last 2 years. Roxbury would have saved $2 million. South Boston would have saved $8 million. Dorchester would have saved $8 million just last year. And so it really matters, as do the votes to hold us back when we need funding for affordable housing, and putting a small fee that we've now asked for 4 times on luxury sales of millions of dollars of real estate. A small portion of that should come back to affordability. And the city council's passed it by wide margins. The vast majority of Bostonians support it. The mayor doesn't get a voice in the state legislature. The city does, and I don't expect that any city should be in control of what happens at the state. But if we don't have our Boston legislators fighting for Boston, instead delaying things, running away from problems, then we have no chance of getting our issues addressed with the mix of every other city. And so all I am asking for is for our state senators to respect the will of the people. If the Boston City Council has passed it and had many hearings, and it's 13-0 or even 11-2 passed, if we've had town halls at the city level, if people have weighed in, if it will save residents hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes, if it will deliver hundreds of millions of dollars in housing affordability, if it will let our small businesses thrive by giving us more liquor licenses and more time, if it's funding for free tea that we need, stop standing in the way. Stop being an obstacle when we already have so much coming at us from the federal government. We're fighting Trump every day on something new. We can't afford to fight our state government too. And the state senators, there's 5 that represent Boston. Only 2 of them are entirely within Boston, Senator Miranda, who's wonderful, and Senator Collins, who has not voted with Boston residents over and over and over again. So I hope if you live in South Boston, Dorchester, South End, Chinatown, vote for LaToya Gale on September 1st. She's amazing, a mom of 4. She's fighting in her whole career for early education resources, knows the BPS system inside out. And I guarantee you, I knew her before. I mean, I didn't know her before. I knew of her. I didn't really get to know her until this campaign, after she launched her campaign. But I've seen her in spaces. And if you've been involved at all in education, you know who she is. She will not shrink away from taking on hard issues. And she certainly won't hide from her constituents. So get out there. Any way you want to vote September 1st.
Yes or no question, and I got to bring the gentleman in. I'm going to bring them in while you answer this. What I heard, you said something around the luxury tax piece. A clarifying question is, with what Senator Collins proposed, with what he said he's doing, are you saying there was an additional opportunity to enter that?
Okay, yeah, let me talk. Okay, I need to clarify this.
Mayor, if you can, for gentlemen, please. No, because when you said that,
4 minutes. here's the thing. Okay, so now Mira's 1.5, right? She's walking. She can jump now. Before I found out I was pregnant with her, we realized that property taxes were going to be a problem, and that our economy was going through something that Boston went through before. Mayor Menino had seen something like this in 2004. There was a solution there. It was common sense. It didn't create any permanent challenges, a matter of balance and protecting our residents in a temporary period from this tax spike. And so before, and as I learned I was pregnant, we launched this at the State House. I spent a year going to every single state legislator, negotiating, having meetings, making phone calls. There were probably 20 calls that Senator Collins ignored from me, from my team, to say, can we talk to you about this? We need your help. We need your ideas. I had meetings with our Boston delegation. He didn't show up. I had a meeting eventually in the state Senate, at the Senate president's office, with all the Boston senators there, with the city on one side of the table, the business interests on the other side of the table. The Senate president said, figure it out with the businesses. Senator Collins did not open his mouth and say a word to protect Boston residents in that space when there were no cameras. We had then again, tell us what you need, negotiate with us. The House didn't like our proposal all the way at first, and then they found compromises. We tweaked our proposal. They were like, let's find a way to get to a solution by changing these things. We added different measures to it. And there was nothing on the other side until the last day, when all of a sudden it was blocked, and then it fell apart. And since then, it's been multiple years of not having engagement. And then during an election year, there's a proposal that pops up that is not what we asked for, that is unworkable because it would require us to cut city jobs and city workers, or spend down our emergency rainy day fund in a way that would put us in real financial trouble over the long run. So
Mayor, can I balance giving you the opportunity? Thank you for the deep explanation. And when you said Mira a year and a half, I was like, oh shoot. But my particular question was, with what was proposed, earlier you had mentioned the luxury tax, if you will, for Boston. I was asking
the transfer fee. Yeah.
Is it a part of, and if not, could that have been a part of the proposal that went forward? That's not yours. The one Senator Collins.
Not part of. Both Senator Collins and Senator Brownsberger oppose that, as I understand it, and have fought that from even getting a hearing. Every single other city who passed their own home rule petition around this, there have been many communities who want to do this. The House advanced them all. The Senate advanced some of them, except for Boston's, which they left not even able to get into a committee so that we can have a hearing about it. And these are all technical details inside system. But what people need to know is that it matters when there are problems to be solved, whether you run towards a problem and at least try. You're not going to agree with everyone. We always need to hash things out. We need to have public conversations. But if you just don't even come to the table, if you run away and hide until the last second when real estate donors or corporate interests or someone else kind of gets you to do something, that's unacceptable for Boston residents. We can't even get our conversations into the state unless our Boston senators are fighting for us, and we have not had that happen in these two instances so far.
Okay, Mayor, thank you for the I got to. Brothers, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry, but y'all, except for me. And I heard some things that I have to listen. There's no need of being able to have the time, even though I'm over it and press is going to kill me. Put your laptop camera down a little bit, up a little bit, down a little bit. There you go, brother. No, sir. Mayor, with all that we talked about, and I'm sorry. Well, actually, this worked out well. I always start off with asking how Michelle is. In that context, you're a musician. I'm gonna ask you this: have you ever got off of a Java with Jimmy and went and played the piano to decompress? Yes or no?
I think I probably have, actually. Yeah.
Right.
Today I'm at I don't know if you can tell. I'm at Orchard Gardens. So
we have these brothers that are coming in. They're going to say hello. Introduce yourself real quick, gentlemen. I know Brother Mondi, you know, Mayor. But introduce yourself real quick, everybody. I'll start with who's on screen first. G, I'll end with you. But Brandon, your picture, put your shot.
Sorry.
All right. Brandon, introduce yourself real quick. Tell the mayor what you do.
All right. My name is Brandon Matthews. I'm co-founder of KillerBoombox.com, local music, art, culture, digital publication, and I also run an experiential marketing service called Show Off Marketing.
And brother Amandi.
Good morning, Mayor. How you doing? My name is Amandi Brown. I am the co-founder of Crawl and a local musician here for the past 25 years. It's been an honor to serve as a musician in the city. So good morning, everyone.
So humble. Brother G, please introduce yourself as the curator of this event. As I mentioned earlier, the mayor's office of what is it now?
Arts and Culture.
Arts and Culture, which is tourism, blah, blah. All right. Please say hello to the mayor. Tell her what you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mayor, I want a response to what they're doing. Go ahead, G.
Good morning, first and foremost. That was a very enlightening discussion that you guys was having. So I'm an artist. I'm a CEO of a music publishing company, and I'm the curator of the More Than Music seminar, as well as there's going to be a lot more to come with that. I wanted to personally thank you. I know obviously this is coming through the arts and culture department, but you're the top of that food chain. And so I wanted to personally give you a vote of honor for this opportunity. This is the birth of this seminar. And so, my dad, Tony Brewer, has really spoke a lot about you very high.
Hold on, G. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Michelle, did you know that this was Tony Brewer? Did you know that this?
And we're already family.
So I'm Junior. So I go by the name G.I.S., but obviously I take on the same name. But yeah, so I mean, this is this seminar I honestly know is gonna impact and change the trajectory of where music. So essentially, I'm an artist, but I really wanted to go ahead, Jimmy.
No, go ahead and say the thank you, and then she got to go.
Yeah. So I really wanted to add the business component behind the music.
So
that's essentially
follow up with arts and culture for sure. But Mayor, I just wanted to let you respond to, by your notion, when you hear the term more than music, what does that say to you?
We talk about our arts and culture creatives, our sector in Boston as being not just about arts and culture. It's our economy, it's our community, it's policy making, it's how we work through tough conversations as a community. And we're trying to, in tough times more than ever, we need artists to be able to do their thing so that the rest of us can figure out how to build what we need to build and work out the issues that we need to work out.
Mayor, thank you. I know that press is going to get me. I think this is the longest we ever went over time. I will talk with you soon, and thank you so much for a lot of
Thank you all for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you
all. Gentlemen. First of all, I told y'all that we might go a little bit over, but I thought 5 minutes. So I appreciate y'all's patience. I'm in the background trying to see if I got anything for a little bit of a. We have who in the background listening? Who was that? Okay. Amandi is laughing at me. But I need to take at least a minute commercial break, transition with you all, and we'll be back in 2 seconds, everybody.
Good.
I'm a very sensitive person, and I feel the pain of my people. They know me, they call on me, and I assure them that I'm not a provider, but I am one who cares. I always say to them, well, it's better to know than not to know, because if you know, you can do something about it. Think about the loved ones around you. Think about the ones that love seeing you come through that door. Take the step and get tested. That's it.
Save lives and get screened for colon cancer. For more information, visit boston.gov/cancer.
For the innovators, the dreamers, the risk takers, independent workers who keep our neighborhoods thriving. Connector Care from the Massachusetts Health Connector has plans for every lifestyle and budget.
Having access to affordable healthcare is for everyone in our community.
Connector Care plans help more people save on healthcare that covers all their needs. Find out if you qualify for Connector Care. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you all for coming back. We got our brother Brandon back. You good?
Yeah, my power cord crashed.
Text you're going to get after this show is over. So because we want the good shot, you're getting cut off. Your head's getting cut off. Put your laptop or sit back. Yeah, you're good. All right. Again, thank you all for your patience. We will again start with Brother B. Introduce yourself again, and then tell us a little bit deeper in the context of more than music, what your role is with the panel. And we'll hear from the other brothers as well.
All right. So predominantly my marketing services specializes in music, corporate brands, and cannabis, from a variety of things, from street promotion to PR services and experiential activations. As far as my role for the event, I am speaking on a panel on marketing and promotion, effective ways for independent artists, streams, and things of that nature. And then I also help with some of the plugging for the actual event itself.
I appreciate you being here, brother. And this has been a long time coming, getting you on my screen here. We'll talk about that later. I want to end with Amandi a little bit, but I'm going to end with G as the curator here. And the fact of Tony Brewer, I knew when the mayor heard that, she was going to be like, wait, what? Amandi,
Yes,
and you all just Amandi a little bit longer, but Brandon definitely for a number of years. But Amandi, I've known you for many years, and I've seen the journey and seeing your new IG name, R&B Yoga. Sir, say good morning to the people.
Good morning, everyone. Peace and blessings. Grandest rising. My name is Amandi Brown, known as Amandi Music or Amandi. I've been a music artist, musician, songwriter for the past 20 plus years here in the city. A lot of people have known me for doing that. Over the past 10 years, my life has been more dedicated to my own personal transformation physically, and in the last 5 years, more spiritually, which led to the birth of this company, Crawl, that I co-created with my good friend of mine, Ace Eversley. And it's a company, basically, it's a wellness company prioritizing cognitive wellness over physical. We address the mind. They say free your mind, the rest will follow. But I feel like the mind should be led by the spirit, and then the spirit can tell the mind to tell the body what to do. So we really focus on, understanding yourself, becoming more self-aware, and that inner growth and that self-growth is what drives us forward. So in more music, I'm going to speak on the panel in regards to wellness and living more of a capital A artist life, and not just the artist life that the music business would have you be, but creating a life that's more sustainable, so you don't have such a struggle maintaining through this business industry.
It definitely goes with, what I mentioned about your screen name of R&B and yoga. And those that are familiar with Amandi have seen the journey, and it's just where you're landing is definitely awesome to see. So I have to say it at least once. Tony Jr., TJ. First of all, I didn't check the comments because when the mayor's on,
Yeah.
I cannot be in the comments. I was in the comments, it would have been terrible. I don't know if we know if Brother Tony's on, but Brother GIs, introduce yourself. And I mentioned that you're the curator of this. I'll ask you to speak more to the vision, and then for you, the concept around more the music. I hear the marketing, which is a technical part of the industry piece, but what you have Amandi covering, I'm not aware of it as being as common around the well artists. You know what I mean? And so I'm interested to hear your concept around more than music, and welcome to the Java Cafe.
I appreciate it, my brother. So yeah, go by the name.
Hold on. You say it again.
What? Say what? I appreciate it, my brother.
I'm sorry. You sound just like your father.
Fathers live on.
Crazy, bro.
I know it ain't gonna stop. Yeah. It's all good. I mean, that's That's a compliment, man, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, man, I go by the name Giaz. Artist, CEO. I own a music publishing company where I do a lot of writing for film and television. So I have like over 150 film and TV placements, everything from MTV to BET to VH1 to Netflix. I mean, I got multiple different film and television placements outside of my own personal career with multiple projects and albums and visuals and just a list of different musical, I guess, accolades, we'll call them. In my journey of doing this, you know, I've come across, you know, a lot of highs and lows and having to make a lot of wrong turns and mistakes and just things that I've done not properly knowing, right? So I wished I had, you know, a panel like this, and that was the initial inspiration behind putting this together. Was you know what, man, you know, once I partnered with the arts and culture department, you know, I was trying to figure out how I wanted to curate that, and it was like, you know what, let me do something that I wish I had, right? So in terms of the speakers and the panelists, they were, you know, specifically chosen because I felt like they were experts in their field, and I got personal relationships with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Let's speak on the people that are here, right? So Amandi, we've got music together. I've known him for a long time. An amazing musician and a fellow tourist. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's in terms of the health and wellness component, as you was alluded to, you know, I don't feel like it's spoken enough on from the artist perspective, and not just like he was alluded to, not just from the physical aspect, meaning, you know, you go into the gym, but the mental, man, this game is like, it's in a lot of ways, it's a lot tougher than the streets, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't react in the same ways that you would be able to in those environments. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not endorsing that. What I'm saying though is that there's a lot of mental hurdles that you got to get over, and a lot of confidence, and there's just a lot, man, that comes with this business that I don't think is properly addressed. And so, you know, in getting Amandi on board, well, really him having the having the pleasure of having him on board, right? Because I actually admire his journey, not just from, I mean, he's an amazing musician. Let's just start there. Let's start from the top. But yeah, just like you said, Jimmy, I've watched his growth from the weight loss to the physical fitness to the mental health components. And then when you tacked on that he's just an amazing artist and R&B singer, in my personal opinion, one of the best to come out of the city, right? Absolutely. So when you add these all into that, it was a no-brainer for me to say, all right, you know what? I want to add these different, I want to do this, I want to cover that, I want to cover this, I want to cover health and wellness. Okay, boom, I got to reach out to Amandi. And then with the brother Brandon Bedlam Matthews, you know what I'm saying? I'm using the whole name. Man, first off, I've known him for a long time. We practically family at this point, for a lot of different reasons. And he's been doing my marketing and promo, oh man, for probably over 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's somebody that, and I've used this mention before. If I was a Tom Brady, he's the Bill Belichick. You know what I'm saying? So I really confide in him with all the decision making that regarding how I'm rolling my strategy out, how I'm marketing and promoting myself, different ideas and things that I have, and making sure that I align with the way that the market is moving to properly get what I'm trying to get out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. I want the other brothers to speak to their impression of, you know, more than music. And Amandi, I'll ask you to chime in as well about, you know, your perspective, and you can tease. Well, for those that are watching, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, and I didn't know this, but it happened yesterday. But you want to hurry up. We're gonna go ahead and put are the tickets still available, Brandon?
Yep.
All right, I got the link. I'll
opened it up.
Never mind. Amandi,
yes.
For you, the term more than music, what does it mean?
My excitement about being a part of the panel and speaking on this is I feel like it's deeply rooted and connected to the purpose of why I'm a musician, right? And a lot of people have known the history. If you're from the area, you're from the neighborhood, you know the history of Amandi music. Always singing, 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 singing. But to get to a point in my adulthood and all this time that's passed in my artistry, to see such an evolution in my mind and my spirit and my idea towards the vision and the purpose that was actually placed in my life. Really, I didn't get that clarity until later. And I think if I had these components of wellness that have adopted into my daily practice, when I was pursuing the idea of what a musician is supposed to be or what an artist would be, I feel like the path may have gone different. So being able to get into a space and speak to the next generation of artists and musicians and to let them know that the music business is a place to exist, it's a place to get in and do your work. But your music and your artistry comes first. Knowing who you are and makes it a lot easier to navigate your next steps. Being able to slow down in this fast pace of the music business, like G said, it's like the streets. And you can't respond or react in particular ways. And being able to know that your reaction to your next step is detrimental for the next 10 to 15 years of your career. I've experienced it in missteps on my own career where I've done things out of emotional dysregulation, just being upset or frustrated or feeling this way. And then you react and respond. And now the entire infrastructure that was holding you together, kind of holding you up, has now fallen because, you know, you burn that bridge. And it takes a lot of time to rebuild, restructure. And a lot of the times those opportunities don't present themselves again. So being able to just speak to the value of being intentional and understanding the value in your moves and how you present yourself in this music business is extremely important, even beyond the music. So just that wholeness and that total body wellness is something that I want to offer above being anything else. That capital A artist, like I said, that allows you not to have to take your hat off from when I'm on stage to when I'm shooting content and I'm stressed out about that. You can be one person and you don't have to change. That's where the R&B yogi came from, because I realized that my music is healing. And because I was able to find that expression, I said, I don't have to separate the two. This mind, body, and spirit thing is all on one accord, and it's really guiding my path.
I appreciate that, Amandi. And it's, Brandon rather, can easily come to you from a perspective of tech around marketing and branding. We've talked about it, just so you all know. If you have seen in the last few years any advertisement around the ones I know about, Embrace, a couple of years, we had him do the city for the health fair, and people were hitting me up and taking pictures of, I just saw a flyer of you like at the stoplight. Like, this brother gets the tech and his marketing and knows a lot of how to get you out there. But B, I want to ask you, based on what's said from the two brothers thus far, can you talk about the branding and marketing from a self, beyond the business card, beyond the video, beyond IG? How important, more than music or more than marketing and branding, if you will, can you speak to that in the term of what you're going to talk about this Saturday, actually?
I mean, a lot of what I'm going to focus on really is just, not just necessarily just strategy, but like things that are going on, opportunities that exist. Just, I think my connection to this event is really, showcasing not only, professionals, but also regional professionals. I don't think that we give enough credit to the professionals who are already in town, between, some of the bigger companies and a lot of the independent businesses that are here. So giving that opportunity for people to discover that there are people here from Spotify, and there are people here who have publishing companies, and there are people here who have marketing services. I don't think there's enough, showcasing what businesses actually exist for everybody. So that really is like the biggest connection for me. I think the rest of it is actually stuff that has nothing to do with me. Like, to be honest, I'm more excited about the health and wellness component, because that's something that of 90% of the music events that I go to has no element of that whatsoever. And as a person who has, worked for a million companies and has burnt out and has toured and has done a bunch of other things, you know, the importance of people learning how to do things to take care of themselves, you know, is important. And I just feel like it's something that we should be discussing.
I wanted to ask you that, and I'm also kind of getting ready to go into another set of questions. Is personal brand and image, when you talk about marketing, what both of these brothers have talked to can contribute to how you're perceived by your fan base? You mentioned corporations. There's things like endorsements, and like we've seen it with athletes, we've seen it with artists, we've seen it with just regular everyday people. Oh my God, Amandi, I almost called you.
You can say it, bro. It's not a swear word.
No, it's not. But I'm in a passion place, and so I'm looking at the screen, and I'm like, because I'm going to make a point. And so, sorry, Amandi. He talked about oh, I forgot that quick. But personal image and branding after you get off the stage. Both of these brothers reference to the benefit of that. Can you talk a little bit about that part of marketing and branding, and want to come back to our two brothers as well?
And I mean, it all works together. You know, I think a lot of people think about they're looking at who they are as an artist sometimes, and like what you look like on stage, but they don't realize that all those other people that you interact with, that, you know, may get a chance to get to know you and maybe who you really are and things of that nature, really go a long way. So I think especially now where, you know, social media has given people such an in-depth look at our lives and the things that we're doing, and we're telling our stories more in detail, sometimes unintentionally, you really have to be mindful of what you're doing, what you're around, you know, all those things, because, you know, it could be a potential company that does want to work with you. And, you know, some of the things that you do over here may affect you over here. And, you know, we have to think about the long-term effects of what we're doing. You know, we all have to carry ourselves, you know, pretty professional in most cases, also because in our industry, you know, especially in Boston is not a city that respects a lot of the music industry much. You know, they kind of look at it as kind of like a frivolous thing, and then don't realize that there are a lot of us out here who actually make our living off of this. I haven't had a job since 2007. You know what I mean? So it's been a sustainable thing for me for quite some time. You know, and there's a lot of people who are doing just as great, if not, you know, better. And I just don't think that this city really gets a chance to really see who and what's here and who's created something, you know, outside of, you know, we've talked a lot more about, you know, the 70s, 80s, and some of the 90s, but, you know, in the last 20 years, there aren't many people who've really gotten, you know, the respect that they deserve. You know, we've gotten a lot of artists who are signed. There's a lot of, you know, companies that have started here. You know, some of them had to move, but, you know, there's a lot of things that people just aren't even respected. Even some of the younger entrepreneurs that are coming out, like, you know, our entrepreneurs that are, you know, today's generation are really the ones who are moving the needle, and we're not even talking enough about them and what they're doing. They're not waiting on somebody to come save them. They're rolling up their sleeves and they're getting the work done. So we got to showcase that.
B, I appreciate that. And I'm going to lead into the next questions with Amandi, start with him here. I'm going to have you come back for Java After Dark around this topic. Amandi, I want to ask you, and then G, you can chime in after him as well to this question. Amandi, are you friends with Brandy Blaze?
Yes.
Did you see her recent video?
I did.
Okay. So Amandi, you know, right. The priority is to talk about the seminar.
No, we can talk about
wellness and the wellness. Well. I because I'm going to curate a show with her. I spoke to Jeff 2 times. I want to have a balance, you know, men and women, because I think that's important in the industry as well. But I'm just curious, as B brought that up, that's an ongoing topic. So I'll balance the two in the notion of I'm here in Boston and I'm hustling, to Brandon's point about old, young, and everybody hustling, trying to get things done. And it seems like I'm not getting the love. And I'll, you know this. A prophet is not welcome in his own country. This notion of you got to leave to be successful. People, and you know, I'm local, but people have said it to me. Oh, you're only going to go national if you leave Boston. Mm-hmm. How does one balance the environment with the hustle, with reality, and still keep themselves well? Come on, sir.
I've lived this experience, right? And come on. I don't have like a proper way to put it, or it's difficult growing up being a musician or artist in the city. Just like B said, the lack of knowledge about what's available, what is here, and the collective ecosystem makes it easier for artists to feel like they're not supported collectively because it feels like a hustle. To keep it on theme of more than music, I think that's the part in branding yourself, which allows you to fill the other spaces that are out of your control with something else that complements the music, whether it be the wellness, whether it be the, like I'll give you an example. I've been doing music, like I said, here for over 20 years. Haven't really been endorsed for anything in music, but I've been running for a year. And now my company has endorsement from running brands and wellness brands that support the message of the music that allow me to get the music further. Like that's kind of ultimately the goal. If you realize that music is the language that you were taught to help other people understand what they can't speak, it's not the language for you.
Time out.
Okay, sorry.
Say that again about music.
Yeah, music is just when you find music and you find that it's your thing, that's your language to help others interpret what they can't speak about. It's not for you to be stuck in your language and not learn anything else. So once you've mastered or you understand that your calling is within music and you can interpret things that other people can't, the goal is to find something else to make you curious so that you could get interpretation from somebody else that they have a gift. That's how you become a whole rounded person. It's not to hide behind the gift of the one thing, if whether it be piano or singing, because the world will just see you as a singer. And that's when they really can't hear your voice because there's a million people just trying to sing. There's a million people just trying to rap. And if we don't have the proper ecosystem there, it becomes the crab in the barrel mentality where everybody's pulling the next person down because they feel like the opportunities are slim because their suffering comes from the one way that they see happiness. So if you look at your artistry and you look at being an artist, if you're not coming out, no, I'm not saying this is the argument to anybody, but if the lack of community it's a common complaint or a common thing where everybody's like, yo, there's not enough community. There's not enough community. Okay, maybe we need to build community a different way other than just saying, come out to my show.
Okay. All right. G.
And I'm not saying that.
No, because
it's more than music. There's not a, if we're all doing it, you got to think about it. If I could think of the 20 artists that came up when I came up in music, we're all pretty much still doing music over 20 years. There's a whole nother generation of artists in the same area doing the same thing that have more of a control in community than we do from the same people that we've been kind of performing to over the last 20 years. It's a different demographic. It's a different group. It's a different plan. It's a different business. It's completely different. The 500 people that I would get to come out to a show 7 years ago, maybe pre-pandemic, is completely different. We're older. Even our age group is older to even want to come out to go out to a show. It's hard.
But here's another piece that you're speaking to, and G, I'm going to get ready to have you jump in as we get ready, because I'll be honest with y'all, I got a headache, and the COVID piece changed the economy, changed our going outside, changed engagement. But as you were talking about this next generation, I'm also thinking about a lot of independent artists have always done different ways. But since COVID, those that came out that had more time to invest in their craft, they use the internet. And that is so for you. And let's just own the fact. First of all, hearing you say the next generation, hearing you say that it's just, I'm sitting here like, and I wasn't going to say it, but hi. Me too, bro. But with me, you expect it. G, I appreciate your patience because I wanted to purposely exemplify your intentionality around the panel and these panelists. I'm going to bring up the flyer in a second because I want to mention my good brother that Malik Williams is on there as well. I'm going to mention other folks, but you have the responsibility of now taking the things that they said, things that you're thinking, adding a couple of other components, and be able to do that in 2.5 minutes.
So, I mean, that's actually relatively easy, right? And I'll tell you why. Because and you didn't ask me the question, but I'll answer it. More than music, it's a lifestyle. And that's the simplest way I can put it, Jimmy. Like this, everything that we talk about, from health and wellness to marketing to promo to financial literacy, all of the things that we covering in this seminar, it's a lifestyle. It's more than music. You know what I'm saying? Like these things, if you wanted to be an architect, or you wanted to be a real estate agent, or you wanted to just work a regular 9 to 5, these components are necessary for just a healthy lifestyle. And I feel like, similar to what Amandi was saying, as an artist, there's just so many components that you gotta attack. And this next generation, I think to a degree, I think they might still think it's about the music. And the reality is it don't got nothing to do with the music no more. It's about everything else. It's about the music is essentially just like a commercial for you to facilitate the other things that you want to input in.
Why? It's real.
Yeah.
Yo, I didn't even want to jump in. I didn't mean jump in and chime in, but that's the realest thing that G could have said today. Like, if you think about, I was watching a video of T-Pain, and he was like, who agreed that music could go on streaming services and just go from what I said I was going to charge for my music to pennies on the dollar?
Yep. I seen that.
Like, we never get as artists. So if you take away the element of us putting a price or a value on what we create, and that streaming has overtaken the music business at this time, you have to realize that it's going to be more than the music that allows you to sustain yourself if you want to be a part of the music business.
Well, I mean, look, and I know you're trying to wrap shortly, Jimmy, but come on. Yeah. So this is I think this is essentially really what my initial inspiration was that now, as a new artist, especially this next generation, it's a requirement for you to do more than music, right? When we first started, you could just be a talented artist and somehow cut through. Did everyone make it? Nah, but just off the sheer musicality, you could find a way to cut through. Now, you got to be the artist, the manager, the content creator, the psychiatrist.
Exactly. And it's not just y'all musicians. I just need to say that some of the stuff that y'all are, I'm sorry, because like Amanda, he didn't hit a spot. Any type of creative, I know y'all are saying music, but first of all, y'all need to find a seat for me. A lot of what y'all are saying is applicable to any type of creative that is so public facing.
Yes.
Certain artists, you do the thing. Our brother Pro Black, a lot of his is public facing, but a lot of it is not. But if you're out there and there's some things that y'all are speaking to that are helpful to me today. And I don't, Mondi knows this, but I don't sing and stuff no more. But in this space, I've learned a lot. And a lot of what you're saying, and Amandi, I agree with you to the point of I started it, went through some things and had to heal. But once I made the intentionality to be real with myself and heal, when I tell you blessings on blessings on blessings on and the thing is, to y'all's point, the show is the show and it's a vehicle, but a lot of my sustainability is off camera. You know what I'm saying?
And that's literally like the capital A artist. You're a capital A artist, Jimmy. Yeah. When I say that is, I mean, everything you do in your life goes together. Whether you're on camera or off camera, you're Jimmy. And because you healed off camera, the healed version of you on camera opens different lanes. It's a different path. It don't even look like the same thing. So like, that's what we're trying to get the other artists to see, whatever your artistry may be. Yeah. Live it wholly, live it fully. And then that one path, they say if suffering came in 100 ways, you'd suffer 99 times because you only see happiness one way. And we have to realize that we can see other ways out and we suffer less. We start to put that thing back in balance. And that's that capital A lifestyle that's more than music.
Go ahead, G. I know.
Yeah, nah. Listen, man. Listen, Jimmy. I rock with you, brother. Like, like for real, man. And I caught what you said, so I wanna actually address that because of the overwhelming response that we've gotten to this first seminar. I'm now in the process of setting up the second one for the fall. And so if that's something that you'd be interested in, we could talk offline and figure it out. I will. My goal is to bring back some of the current speakers, add some additional components and pieces. And I don't want to go too deep into it, but my overall answer is yes. There will be a follow-up to this. Okay. And to be quite honest, many more. I'll get into that at a later date and time. But if that's something that you're interested in, man, let's definitely chop it up.
I want to do the status or whatever of Boston's artists, whatever, and be a part of that. I think additionally, there's another after dark to continue maybe part of that conversation, but then also this piece around, like, I love my sisters, Danielle, Courtney from Woke Woman. I love my brother Marv. Banner, I didn't mean to say that. Hold on. There is a conglomerate of us that we get together. We got a text thread, but I think that the adjoining of whether you're a vocalist, a musicality type creative, or you might want to consider this more than, I don't know, it sounds corny, more than creativity, because you don't want to limit. Somebody may be a podcaster or a photographer, bro, or model. Oh, that doesn't apply to me because they're not a vocal or a principal musician. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, listen, y'all done got me way out there, and y'all, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say y'all can cuss me later. Brendan is working on the link, because right now it appears that the way Eventbrite is set up, that there are no more available tickets. If tickets become more available, or if they do a wait list, B will get me the link and I will post it and make sure you all know about it. But y'all gonna squeeze one more folding chair. Happy folding chair. Happy National Folding Chair Day, Montgomery, Alabama. Let's all do it together. No, sir. I need to, as much as I said, I'm not going to do anything this weekend. Is it Aloft? Where is it at?
So it's at the Beantown Flair in Faneuil Hall, downtown.
Okay. I thought it was 8 p.m. because I would treat myself to go right upstairs after the during seminar. Self-care. Yeah. All right. I'll be there. And B knows that he's tried to get me out to a few things over the years, and I'm like, but no, I'll be there Saturday. I look forward to gripping all three of you up. I thank you all for your time today. Please keep me abreast, G, of the event in the fall. Brandon and Amandi both, I've known y'all since y'all. Brandon, I'm not sure if you was a teen. Amandi, you was either pre or just early teen. Yes. But to see both of you all just doing what you're doing, staying committed and dedicated, and seeing the benefits, of you all's dedication and longevity in these spaces is definitely dope. And so for both of you, I'll be reaching out. I got a couple of things going on. And yeah. Yes, sir. All right. And G, we'll connect. And I see something here. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. So I got the link. Did you open up the tickets yet? B?
It'll in the next 30 seconds that we might be able to find some additional tickets just for your audience.
I'm not because if I put the link up.
No, I got you. Okay. I got you.
I will get cussed out. All right, I'm gonna put the link up. Jimmy, I went to give hold on. All right, let's put it on.
I want to send a couple shout outs too before we wrap, Jim. First off, I want to thank again Mayor Wu's Office of Arts and Culture for partnering with me on this event. I want to thank Beantown Flair for allowing us to host this amazing event at their location. And I want to thank all of the panelists, of course, that'll be a part of it, that'll come bringing knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to each of the people that will be in the building. And last but certainly not least, I want to thank the curators of the food, Gourmet Creole, for coming in with that good
Hey,
Haitian vibe.
Yeah, some pickles.
Yeah.
Come on, brother. I'm definitely coming. So
Big
that
facts.
you got everybody. I appreciate y'all. And thank you, because as difficult of a much needed conversation for our mayor to be able to communicate. So some of the stuff I was like, oh shoot. But I thank y'all for y'all grace to wait on and be delayed in your time, as I know all three of you are busy. Brandon, give Hunter my best. Amandi, I cannot have you on here and not celebrate the wonderful queen that I got to hug a couple of weeks ago at Latrell's event, our Mother Brown. Definitely appreciate her. And G, if he ain't on here, I can go in the comments now because we're wrapping up. Hold on. If he ain't on here,
He'll be there. He'll be there on Saturday either way. You'll see him.
He will?
Yeah.
All right, that's what's up then. I get to grip my boy up. All right. I appreciate all three of y'all. Folks, let me go to Java. The link to the event tickets just opened up. Okay. Hold on. What happened? Wait. This is on my. Why is this doing this? All right, there we go. Sorry. I was trying to put it on Facebook. I'm getting y'all off of here so I can get off of here.
I got one last thing to throw in there.
Come on, B, because you don't talk a lot. And getting you on camera today.
I just want to make sure we let everybody know about the remaining panelists that we didn't get a chance to talk about.
I was going to, and I forgot. Thank you.
We do have DJ Foreign coming. He's curating our music. He's also going to be co-hosting as well. Sadiq Irvin, a young brother who is like a really strong, man in the community and in the music community in general, and another brother by the name of Mike Reed, who's going to be coming in and giving us some financial literacy as well.
Okay. That is a big part of it. So okay, I appreciate you. Thank you all for being here, and I'll see you guys on G. I can just show up, right?
You pull up, man. Listen, you more than well. We're gonna roll the red carpet out for you, Jimmy, man.
I would usually say no to it. I would usually say, no, I don't need no what, but you said red. No, I'm messing, man. Listen, I'll just be glad to be in the building and be in an environment that is focused on all of that, because Huamandi, somebody said something about the off the camera. Y'all might know, but what we go through as creatives is as much as the healing journey is an ongoing process, because if you stay on the road of healing, you will be deterred in the sunken place of pain and suffering. So I'm gonna try to look at the yogi there. Trying to be like you, man. Trying to be like you. All right, y'all get off of here, and we'll see y'all on Saturday. Thank you.
All right, y'all.
Peace. All right, folks. Thank you all for being here today. We had a definitely extended. I'm glad I got him off of there before he said something else. I'm tired. What am I doing? There is no show tomorrow. And don't forget, tickets just opened up. Oh, I was going to put the tickets on James's page and realized that Facebook, the volume was on, and that's why we had brother Leon Bill was in the building, or is in the building. You can contact them, brother Leon, on Instagram or DM them on Instagram. The brother, what is his name? Brother G has a website as well. So all right, folks, I'm done. I will see you all. Mother, I knew you was in here. Now, is Tony Brewer in the building? Let me troll the comments real quick. I don't see brother Tony. Dag Talia, I'm sorry I missed your question. So for those of you that are new here, I almost said something. I don't mess with the comments when certain individuals are on, because it is, I'll just be, it's a lot to engineer, produce, manage look at the comments, try to stay focused, squeeze all that stuff in, listen, and be able to respond. It's a lot. Thank all of you for being here. We will see you. Dina, thank you. I appreciate you. And I will, thanks, Ma, for letting Mother Brown know. Yeah, and we'll see you guys on Monday. Oh, Monday we have a guest. Dr. Benjamin Akins will be with us. I have to follow up with him. All right. Yeah, let me get off of here because I got a lot to do. And we'll see you guys on Monday at 10 a.m.